What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I'm making $1,000 a month from a one-bedroom apartment pretty much passively. As most of you know, if you've been following along with the channel, my name is Rafa Loza. I am in the short-term rental space. Now, before we get into this, there's a few things I want to clear up. This is very, very doable by any of you who are watching this. Let's get that out of the way. You can 100% do this. Why? Because I've done it. And like I say all the time, I'm nobody special. I just get down to it. I do the work that's necessary, and you can do it yourself. So, making $1,000 a month from a one-bedroom apartment through short-term rentals. I use what's called the rental arbitrage model. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch my video in the beginning where I explain exactly how it is. But to give you a brief explanation of it, I rent properties long-term from property management and owners. I get them furnished, we get them designed, and then we charge people to stay short-term at a higher rate. Therefore, we make a profit. Now, any apartment that I go after is usually a one-bedroom apartment. Now, why? Because I focus on a very specific customer type, okay? My customers are the small families, the mom and dad with the baby or a child, the couple, boyfriend, girlfriend who are out on vacation, the business traveler, the medical professional who come to the area and need a place to stay that only really requires a one-bedroom apartment. My one-bedroom apartments here in my location happen to make me an average of as little as $800 a month to as high as $1,500 a month, in some cases $2,000. Now, I want to make something very clear. This is on average for the year. There's months where I do break even. There's months where I end up with a couple bucks on top. I think I've actually had a couple months where I ended up negative for the month on a really bad time. But very important to know, there's months where I do $3,000, $4,000 in profit. So when I talk about $1,000 a month from a one-bedroom apartment, I'm talking about specifically for the entirety of the year, all the income from January to December divided by 12, and on average, it's $1,000 a month profit take home in my pocket. Now let's get into the weeds of how I do it. I go out and I talk to landlords, property managers, investors. I do a lot of networking. I put out content like this, letting people know what I do. Now, we do short-term rentals for the customers that I just talked about a few minutes ago. We get the place, number one, fully remodeled. We don't go after outdated apartments. We don't go after outdated homes, things that look like they were built in the 80s that have no style to them whatsoever, okay? We like to go after the places that have been freshly remodeled. They look clean, they look new, they're freshly painted, they're nicely done, they're designed, right? They look beautiful. To be clear, my company doesn't actually do any of the rehab. I work with the investors. Once the property has been rehabbed, I come in with my designer, and she looks at the place and she says, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. And we either put a theme behind the design or we focus on the customer and the needs of the customer and we furnish it according to their needs. What do I mean by that? If I'm going after business travelers, I'm going to provide things that business travelers require, such as a working desk, such as a comfortable chair, sometimes a whiteboard, a calendar board, sometimes a high quality printer, super fast Wi-Fi, right? These are all things that you can implement into your location to attract that customer. If I'm going after small families with babies, what am I gonna provide? I'm gonna provide amenities for the baby, a pack and play travel crib, a high chair, a baby bath, baby soaps, all of that stuff. So keep that in mind. Depending on the customer you're going after. Now for me, because I provide all those amenities in the unit, those are the customers that I'm trying to attract to my location. As we get going into the apartment itself and we get it designed, we're going to make sure we kind of invest a little bit more money than your average short-term rental operator or Airbnb investor. We spend a little bit more money, and if you don't know what I mean, go back and watch my video about the startup cost. But typically my average per night here, I want it to be between $150 and $210, right? $150 and $210 a night. Why do I want that? Because I aim for about 86 to 91% occupancy for the month. That means that I'm allowing myself to be vacant for a certain amount of days of the month, and I still make a really good amount of money in revenue. Now, if I do that for the entirety of the 86%, let's say 25 days or so, at 150, I'm going to make a certain amount of cash that's going to cover all of my expenses and leave a spread of $1,000 a month, average for the year. It's very important for you to understand your numbers prior to doing this. You need to know what your expenses are gonna be. Now, because I do the rental arbitrage model, my biggest expense is the rent, because I pay rent for a one-bedroom apartment. In my market, we're looking at close to $2,400 to $3,000 a month. On top of that, I need to pay things like utilities, things like electricity, gas, water, sewer, trash, depending on what the landlord and myself agree, gardening, all that stuff. You can negotiate that with your landlords or whoever you're working with to see who covers what expenses. But for me specifically, I cover the rent, basic utilities, the internet, resupply cost, and then miscellaneous things like batteries died, my linen cost off the top of my head here. And I'll make a video for you guys on what my actual expenses are here in the future for a 1-bedroom apartment. But what I'm getting at here is that the rent that I make, let's say I bring in $4,000 for the month in revenue, but my expenses are only as high as $3,000, because keep in mind, $2,500 for the rent, and then $500 in utilities expenses, linens, resupply, things like coffee, trash bags, etc., etc., etc. I have a profit left over from $3,000 to $4,000 of $1,000. That's take home. That's in my pocket to go and buy myself a new cell phone, to go and buy myself a new mouse, or better yet, to pay for my car every single month, right? Let's say you guys want to add a vehicle to your lifestyle, whatever way you're living, and you say, hey, I think it's time for me to go and buy a new car. You should all live frugally anyway and live below your means. It's the best way to get started in investing, right? Save some money, invest that money. But if you can do this strategy, the short-term rental investment strategy that I'm talking about, and use other people's properties, let's say your car payment's $500 a month. If you go and open a 1-bedroom apartment, that's extra income that comes in every single month. Think about it. What can you do with $12,000 a year? Well, my car payment gets paid from one apartment. That means that now the income that comes from my actual job, for those that you have a 9-to-5 out there that love your job, that income doesn't have to be spread out now to cover your car payment. Your 1-bedroom apartment can pay for your car, right? It can pay for your month-long outings. That's $1,000 you can go out and spend with your significant other to go on dinner dates, to go to Disneyland, to travel. I mean, $12,000 for the year, you save that for one whole year and you go have a vacation of a lifetime, right? Go overseas for an entire 30 days or whatever you want to do, whatever, you know, whatever you're into. That's a lot of money, $1,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Now, I've been able to successfully do this without question, without doubt, for the last 5 years, okay? Any apartment that I actually take, I aim for $1,500. I have a little bit of a higher standard, but I know for a fact that minimum, I'll be able to make $1,000 per month using this strategy right here, okay? Let's recap a little bit. Let's rewind it and recap. You're gonna go out, you're gonna look for a 1-bedroom apartment, work with the property management or owner, do it correctly, don't do it behind their back. Again, we do this the right way. You're gonna furnish it, you're gonna design it very nicely, right? You want it to be attractive because you're looking for a specific customer that's gonna pay you a certain amount of money per night. You're going to run all of your expenses. Whatever those expenses are, you're going to add $1,000 on top of it. You're going to divide it by a certain amount of nights. That's going to dictate how much money you're going to charge per night. If your market meets that demand, you can very easily make $1,000 per month doing this strategy right here. The short-term rental arbitrage strategy has 100% completely changed my life. I know it can change yours. It's changed everybody's life around me who I've taught and helped get started. And believe me when I tell you, the more you add to these, the easier it gets, right? What do I mean by that? If I add more units, my expenses start to drop because now I'm dividing my expenses over a certain number of units. Think about it. What if you have 10 of these? What if you want to quit your job? What if your source of income for you to survive and live comfortably is $5,000 a month? You should all know what it costs you to survive, right? If it costs you $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever the case may be, do the math. How many units do I need to open in order to be able to quit my job? For me, it was $4,000. So that was 4 apartments that I had to open. When I opened 4 apartments, I can quit my job and now live off of these 4 apartments. Does that make sense? And I did it by opening 1 and doing a $1,000 per month in profit. If I can do it, you can do it. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please share it with a friend. If it wasn't, leave a note in the comments. You guys gotta leave me comments. I don't know what to record to help you if you don't tell me, okay? So leave me a comment below, whether you liked this video, whether you thought it was a waste of time, if you want me to talk about something specific, if you want me to make the video with all the actual broken down numbers, I'll do it for you guys, because you guys are my followers and I wanna help you. Other than that, I love you all and I'll see you on the next video.